possible for a TV to be too big? The answer might be yes. So there was a time when I would have said there's no way you could buy a TV that was too big. And then I bought the LG G3 77-inch OLED TV, and it might be too big for the space that I put it in. Up front, let me tell you, I joined a program called The Insiders that allows you to purchase tech at a discount in exchange for a review. So if you're wondering, this TV was not free, it was not a loaner. I actually paid for it. Now, it's been with me maybe for 2, it might even be coming on 3 months. And when it showed up, the box was borderline frightening. I was like calling in favors to get somebody to help me install it, but I hadn't really paid any attention to like how big it was going to be. And when it showed up, I thought, man, I got a problem. So this TV weighs 80 pounds. And the G series from LG is called that because it's their gallery series. Their intention is for this TV to be mounted on a wall, and it comes with a wall mount. My intention was not to mount this TV on a wall, and so I bought a TV stand. That stand weighed 50 pounds. That TV weighs 80 pounds. 130 pounds was too much for the existing furniture I had, so I had to buy a new piece like TV console, stand to put it on, plus an actual stand, and then get the TV up there. Lifting the TV from the box onto the stand was probably the scariest 60 seconds of my life. But you know what? It went up and I didn't have any trouble with it. So you sit down, you turn on your new 77-inch TV, and I just wasn't prepared for just how big or how bright this TV was. In fact, it gave me eye strain. I had to back myself away from the TV and eventually kind of figured out that what I needed was to lower the brightness settings. Because one of the big bragging points on this new TV is that there's a new, I believe you call it a lighting engine, but bottom line is that this new LG tech is making it very, very bright. OLED TVs struggle with brightness. They don't typically do well in brightly lit rooms, and that seems to be a thing of the past. Well, I'm not in a brightly lit room. I'm in a basement that is designed to turn the lights down so you can watch TV. So I ended up having to reduce the brightness quite a bit. There's an OLED brightness setting, and I'm running at 35 to 40% of peak brightness, and it is plenty bright. I also put some accent lighting behind it, some LG hue lights, and you know what? I love those things. They look nice. And once I kind of got it, set, got backed up, got the brightness right, I was finally ready to enjoy the TV. And I have been enjoying it. So I don't exactly have a color meter. I can't tell you how perfectly that it is reproducing colors, but I can tell you just to my eye, it is impressive, impressive, impressive. I run it off of an Apple TV. Of course, it's a smart TV, but I never like onboard OSs. I like having a different box, and Apple TV is by far my favorite. So that's what I did my streaming off of. I watched the, not The Mandalorian, the last Disney Plus show, Ahsoka. I watched the Ahsoka finale on it, had a bunch of guys over, and it looks fantastic. Most of my watching, though, I'm actually doing on Panasonic's UB820, which is a 4K Blu-ray player. And I've got a significant 4K Blu-ray collection that I love to watch, and just sublime. Perfect. It does everything you would expect it to do. It does 24p, it does Dolby Vision, it does HDR, everything that you would want out of a TV like this. The brightness are just, it's mind-blowing. Just the spectral highlights where you get a bright flash and it's like, wow, it's so bright. And just as far as subtlety goes, one of the little things that really stuck out, I watched Jaws in 4K, and there's a night scene where you're seeing the lights on the water. It was incredible to see the deep, deep blacks, but then also the bright highlights of the light on the water. Very, very cool. Now, the other thing I use it for is gaming. And so I've got a PC, but I've also got my PlayStation 5. The PC, it works with okay. It does G-Sync, which is great. One of the things I found is that after the PC's been connected, if you switch inputs on the TV a few times, it will lose the G-Sync functionality, and it will just revert to something that's more like a FreeSync kind of tech. I actually found a piece of software that'll restart your graphics drivers that will fix that for you on your PC. But other than that, like, it just looks spectacular. Especially with the PlayStation 5. I've been playing Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And Insomniac has built in something that is like their 40 hertz mode. So you can play 40 hertz uncapped on this TV. Now, the TV does 120 hertz, and it does G-Sync, FreeSync, the variable refresh rates. And so it's just wildly impressive, like how cool it actually looks. Is it worth it? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. I mean, this is the kind of thing where you got to start looking at your financial situation before it's worth it. There's a lot of really great TVs out there at very affordable prices. And so I don't want to encourage anybody to take any kind of a plunge that they can't afford. But a really good question I can answer is it impressive? And I can give that an unqualified absolutely. Isn't this the part where you're supposed to say like and subscribe? If you want to see more content like this from me, make sure you mention it in the comments. And if you don't have anything nice to say, please move on.